Ready? 3.
I realize it probably shouldn't be. Sucking on the withers.
Eating old man candy. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Behind the Hooks. With Manny DeGrandis. And Daniel Panetta.
Hey.
So Manny's darker. That spray tan. That spray tan be strong. No, where were you? What do?
What's going on? Yeah, so I haven't even spoke to you since I got back, which is 2 days ago. Oh yeah, got to go to Honduras, Rotan, or you say row, I say tan.
Don't mind me. I'm just gonna do some house cleaning while you talk.
I was still drunk from a bit, but it's great. Yeah, we got to go with the Glen Ray band. We got to go down to Rotan and play for a week, and it's on a resort. But we also got to play on a catamaran. That was fun one afternoon, and then we got hired to play a couple local bars.
Sweet.
And what's crazy is that while we were playing one bar, I'm getting cards to play another bar and another bar. And we're like, but we're going home. And then I'm like, we should not be going home.
So did you extend your stay?
No, but we definitely could have. We could have stayed, and we could have played the next weekend. We came back on Monday, but we would definitely could have had. We could have probably had 3 gigs.
Jeez,
without even trying, just from playing the. People are so starved. So a little backstory of it. This woman, Dawn, is a travel agent. For years, she's been doing these gigs where she gets local bands, Toronto bands, and go down to 2 weeks in Jamaica and 3 weeks in Roatan. And it's a different band every week. And then she just sells it off to people around here. So the resort's fairly small. Nice on the beach and all that stuff, but full of Canadians and people that know you or kind of know you, looked you up on YouTube, and so everybody's already excited to watch you play. And being the time of life we are in right now, people are just losing their mind because, on one, we're finally on vacation, and 2, just live music. Like, never once did we get told to turn down, nothing. And it's just so cool. So, I don't even know where to start, but it was a lot of fun to, just do all that. It's a lot of work playing 6, tearing down. We had so much help from, especially the staff. They would carry our gear around.
What?
That was crazy. And lift up like Jesse's keyboard and right over their head, one arm, and then like grab my bass amp to ease themselves out, and you just be okay, this is pretty cool. So it was really amazing to be playing for so many familiar faces and people that like you. And then the great thing was the flights got all weird because
they do.
I think I think we were supposed to be with Air Transit, and then they're like, no, we're not going to go anymore. Like a year after everybody booked, or 6 months, and then she found another one. So what ended up happening was some people went on Sunday, we went on Monday, and then on the following Sunday, the next band came in.
Okay.
Which was some great guys and heavyweights. Russ Boswell, who the bass player who plays. I don't know. Where do you want to start? But Dave Wilcox for wacky years, and then so many of the theater shows and everything in between, and Lance Anderson, Steve Grisbuk, and Wise, the drummer. And it was Steve's band they just threw together, which was great. So they came down, and then they got up and jammed. And then while we were down there, Cheryl Lescombe and Chucky Zare, who are a couple amazing blues singers, were there also. They're there for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. 4 weeks, something ridiculous. Yeah. So they do a lot of these duo shows. So they got hired to do some shows too, and at other bars, and then we jammed a lot together and drank even more and laughed the most. Friends for life. That's what I love about vacations, right? Like, you know, and it's funny because me and Russ have been talking about grabbing a coffee for like a year and a half, right? Just like, then COVID, and then I'm on the couch, I can't get up for, you know.
Well, yeah,
and him too. And I think he wanted, you know, because he is like a real, like he's definitely a full-time bass player, and more so than like he doesn't really teach or do a side gig. He's just at that point, which is amazing. So he's like he's like, I was on the couch, right? Like, on the couch. But so it's so nice to finally sit there and have some beers with him and have breakfast with him and then take off. But I'm like, really, we couldn't friggin' meet on the dance floor for a coffee
all this time. Well, yeah, it kind of puts it in perspective, right? It's like, COVID just had that heavy effect on people of just like, I know we're you know, not far away from each other, but it's like sometimes you just, man, even us like starting up the show again, it was like, goddamn, pulling teeth out of my own head. Like,
I know, like there's so many times I'm sure, like I know on my end going, I gotta text Dan, get this going. But he didn't text me, so I'll just wait. And you're probably the same way. I should probably, but the couch is comfortable. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, the starting it up in the house was definitely something where I wanted to make sure like the environment was okay for it.
Yeah. And
like doing it in the dining room was, well, it was interesting. But no, I'm glad we were able to bring it into the music room and actually appropriately have music around us.
So awesome. But I mean,
wicked though. That's wicked.
It's great, you know. And then we get to go snorkeling, and we got to do it ourselves.
You did the snorkeling?
Yeah. Well,
sorry, audio guy.
Jeff Saulnier's like
he's certified. Of course, he is.
And so
what doesn't
his
he
girlfriend. Yeah, really.
Hi, Jeff.
And so it was great. So I went with the kids and him, so I really felt safe. And Glenn and his daughter, and you know, and he just took us around. And I mean, but I just knew that like if there's any problems. And you want to know who is a fantastic angelic swimmer?
Oh, do tell.
Jesse Cartwell.
Also not surprising.
Guy's an angel in the water.
See, these people that are so unbelievably talented and can do other things outside of music, y'all make me sick.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just explain to you.
Where do you have the time?
It's like, how do you have the time to have more skills than the mastery of skills that you've got already? You make me a bunch of overachievers.
Yeah, damn overachievers. Overachievers. For real.
You kidding me?
I'm not good
I sing okay and I can barely get out of bed to do anything else. Like,
yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's great.
Yeah, I was like, I'm supposed to be looking at the fish, but then I'm just watching Jesse.
Just watching Jesse swim.
Dive down. Just float around. But everybody got braids done. I didn't get braids done.
Why not?
I didn't get braids done because on the Saturday, which would have been like 6 days in, I had an annual general meeting with the Toronto Blues Society online. So I was already, and I had to talk about stuff, right? So
why wouldn't you do that? Just shock the hell out of them with these long braids and just going like, hey, what's up, guys? Just still drunk.
It was bad enough that I'm 10 and you can't get a bad background, right? Like everything's just like just thrown in their face. So I kept the camera off until it was my turn. And then I turn it on and everybody's like, like, a hush upon the crowd of Zoom.
I still think you should have
done
done
swiped just to see everybody's faces, angry faces, before I
I'm still trying to find a reason. You're not giving me anything as to why you didn't.
I don't know. But you know, they wanted to all do it so that we could have been called the Brady Bunch. And that was the final straw of me. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not being called the Brady Bunch.
Well, you got to be the black sheep, Manny. Why do you got to be a black sheep, man?
Because I'm the white guy in the band. But my original point was Jesse started looking so much like a local with the braids and everything that every time he'd walk by me, he'd be like, "No, thank you, no, thank you," because everybody's always trying to sell stuff on the beach, right? So you just say, "No, thank you, no, thank you," and then he went to the bar to get a drink, and they're like, "That'll be $5," and he's like, "Here's my thing. I belong here," and he's like, "Oh, sorry." So.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So that was good.
So I think one of the a cool point I think and a question to ask you is traveling with gear.
Aha. Yes. Okay. So luckily they had full drum kit.
Okay.
They've been going there enough that they know the people that I would love, and we'll talk about that after. But so she was able to rent some gear. So there's a PA there.
Okay.
I had this beaten up Behringer amp. Glenn got a Blues Junior. And then so we had to bring our guitars and stuff. So I knew going there that I wouldn't be able to like get it on the plane with a bag. Just knew that was going to happen. So luckily I have a really nice SKB case that I got in wheeling and dealing trades and stuff, and I kept the case and sold that bass that was in it. But it was they let me, not Glenn though, but in Toronto they let me carry it right to the gate.
Oh,
and gate checked mine, but Glenn didn't. And
he just checked it right at
the
boarding?
thing. They didn't give him the option, and then when we left Row 10, I asked if I could do that. They just were looking at me like,
you're from outer space.
Yeah. But in Row 10, which was funny, because Row 10, they really put all these stickers and stuff to take care of it. And then I watched, because, you know, it's not like Pearson where you actually walk up to the plane, right? And yeah, they had them in a nice pile. They really took care of it. So
that's awesome.
That was cool.
You know, the funny thing is the horror stories that you hear are actually the rare ones, because for the most part, especially now, and I just mean like in the 21st century, for the most part, people that work at the airport and cargo crew, they're very conscious of that, and they're very respectful of people's stuff. So I mean, the horror stories that you hear is almost a rarity now. So although that doesn't surprise me, what does surprise me is the what to check versus what you can't, what you can carry on versus what you can't.
And that's the thing that drives me crazy. Like when I went to Alaska, we had to take 3 planes, and every plane was like a fight. Mm-hmm. And then the last one, we were on such a small plane that I carried it right to the plane, and then they put it underneath, which is fine. And I get it, because you can't have things obstructing. So you can't have guitars and stuff flopping around while we're in the plane. So I get everything needs to be locked up somewhere. And that's fine. But gate checking, you feel more comfortable. Yeah. But I was able to put it up in the overheads. The other problem is everybody's carry-ons. Because 15 years ago or something, not everybody had the carry-on. They'd have their purse, and that's it. So a lot of the top was empty. But now, because they're charging people for luggage,
they want to carry everything with them.
Everybody. And you're allowed a bag and a carry-on. So a lot of people go on the vacation with just that. So all the overheads are full. And I remember one time I had my bass up there, and an older woman's like, "There's a bass up here, and I can't put my carry-on."
She knew it was a bass?
Yeah, or a guitar. She probably said guitar. And the steward is like, "Look, man," she goes, "yeah, we'll just put you over here. Like, these are their instruments and what they make money with." I'm like, what?
Wow.
I'm like, "You're an angel."
That's amazing.
That was really, so, I mean.
Oh, good on you.
Yeah.
Flight attendant. That's awesome.
So yeah, because I got a gig in Thunder Bay. I'm doing a flyout, and I'm like, okay, well.
Are you flying up?
Thank God.
Yeah, that's a nasty drive.
I was
man.
like, you want to come? It was like it was part of. Talk about that another time maybe. But I was like, so what time does the flight leave? Instead of asking for driving or flying, didn't want to sound pretentious.
Yeah.
So what
or presumptuous.
Presumptuous or rockstar-ish.
Rockstar,
yeah. So, so I had this all the gear there. is destroyed because of the air and the salt water and everything. So it's just it all gets rusted and very fast.
It's just corroded to
corroded. So you plug it in and out, and then it's fine. And there's nothing they could do about it. So I met a bunch of local musicians. It's kind of a cool thing because I think the one guy called his bass player to come and watch, and then another guy, that bass player called another bass player, something like that. I heard.
Just a room full of bass players. Who's doing gigs? Why? All the gigs have no bass players now because they came to watch you play.
It was funny. It was an afternoon gig, and they were like so cool, and they were talking. I was like, and I like to get really personal. How much you pay for your house? Why you're here? I do, right? It was It's like, I love knowing stuff, that kind of stuff. That interests me a lot. But the guy said he had 2 vintage Rickenbackers that just absolutely destroyed. The necks are warped and everything's rusted. And then Buddy just bought shipped over an American, Fender Standard 2020, and it's already getting corroded. He's like, I should have known better and whatever. So the gear does not last down there no matter what you do. Because everything's outside. The bars are outside.
Yeah, you have to have, your music room would have to be like a giant cigar box of like a humidor to prevent that. But even then, I don't think it prevents the salt and all that, right?
Salt and all that, right? I mean, I think you could kind of help it in some ways. But I was asking these guys, why are you there? How'd you get there? What was your thing? All right. And everybody has a very similar story. Just went down, after college or something. And, the one guy who plays guitars and sings, he went down there because a girl asked him to go down there or something along those lines. And, he ended up getting gigs. And he's like, I never went to the bank machine. I never, I'd get money and go, and he's like, I could actually live down here and play, And then the other guy, was kind of the same story. And it was always kind of a fluke, right? So we were at dinner one night, me and Glenn were like, and the kids were there. So I was like, what can we sell on the beach that other people aren't selling, right? So I think Glenn came up with pool toys, right? And then I came up with the idea, well, okay, we'll bring, we'll go around, noodles and inflatable toys. And if they want it inflated, my son will inflate it for $10 with the foot inflator right on the beach and stuff like that.
Y'all are hustling on the beach? You're bringing Toronto hustle on the beach? What the hell, man?
And then the owner's like, I'm like, we're coming for you, right? And he's laughing. He's like, because he was from Brampton and he bought the place down there. And he says, so he goes, well, what do you guys do? We're like, we're musicians. We're already actually here for a gig, and we're playing next door. And he's like, then why are you selling pool stuff on the beach? We need good musicians.
He's calling you out.
It's like, what will my children do during the day? They need to do something.
They got to learn the grind too, man.
Yeah, so
that's funny.
That was funny. What do you guys are idiots?
Oh my god, dude.
But it's cool. I don't know. I remember being blown away when I was talking to a guy and I realized that, he didn't make it in NHL, but then he had this great ride in Europe. And he said, even, in some ways, even better, less stress, less money, but you got room and place to live, and you're, the bars, you never pay $1 at the bar, and you're still kind of popular. And I'm like, oh yeah, you don't have to get the major record label.
No.
To, or whatever to, you could do that stuff, right? So one bass player is like, I'm like, how is he? He goes, well, you got to look at it if I was back home, I definitely wouldn't be a busy bass player. He was like, and I'd have to have a job I hate and in the snow. And he goes, so you got to weigh it out. Well, now I live at the beach, right?
Less money on clothes because you're not wearing as many.
Yeah, and he's just, and he had a funny looking mustache because he can. He's down there and he didn't worry about that.
Wow, man. I think about that sometimes because, throughout the course of a career, you'll often think it's like, if I just hopped on a train or a plane and went somewhere else and, there was a time where I used to busk, down at Queens Quay and stuff like that. You make $250 in a day, man.
You could do really well, especially if you have kind of a shtick.
Yeah.
After first year at Humber, I think it was first year, but me and my buddy Christian just decided to just play busk and work on our chops that we worked on all year. That was cool. And then like businesses would pay us to stand in front of their place, and we would go to Yorkville because he always wanted to see the pretty ladies. If you know him. I haven't seen him in so long that I can't just sit here and talk about him.
Yeah.
Anything bad. I got to give we were young. But
where's that shovel? You digging a hole?
Digging a hole. Love them. I miss them, and it was so much fun. And the few friends that are listening to this would know who I'm talking about. He's just a great guy. And he actually...
You're doing inside jokes on a podcast.
He went... But it's just like... It's crazy what guys like... I don't know, man. Like, you know, because you're all in Humber and so many guys just... The grind is hard to keep going after that if you want to keep playing and be part of something or break a scene, because it just seems like there's so many people. But you can, right? Or you could do what these guys do and just go to another country and try it out, right? And it doesn't always have to be Nashville. You know?
Yeah, I know. My nerd brain, though, like it worries about things like, my stupid adult conscience. Like, what are the taxes like down there? Or like, who are you paying taxes to?
Dude, no taxes. I've talked to people that bought a condo down there. There's no condo fees and no yearly taxes.
So what are we doing here?
That's a hard one.
What's the internet connection like? Can we do a podcast from down there?
We could. We definitely could do a podcast. I was on a Zoom call and there's no drops or nothing. So
it begs the question, what are we doing?
Cartel.
Oh.
You never know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, if you become the official musicians for the cartel, you're taken care of.
Exactly.
I'm not condoning anything, by the way. I'm just saying, hypothetically, if you ever work for an organized crime organization, they take care of you pretty well. Not speaking from experience at all.
No.
You get nice suits that you don't have to give back.
Yeah. Well, you gotta look good.
Yeah.
To hang with the big boys.
So behind the camera is literally like plaques of my past, and I'm just looking up at them. It's like, yeah, kid, I'm talking about you.
There's gonna be a lot of flashback moments now with these new posters up.
I was debating putting them up because it's like, I don't like looking back very much, but there were some cool things that I did back in the day, and I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just put the ones that I liked up.
Well, what's weird is doing a bio, right? Or like, so you'd be like, oh, X this player, X this band, played with this band, right? So it's like, okay, so have you been fired from those bands?
Yeah, what's the story?
Like, I am terrible at writing a bio. I don't like name dropping names because it's like, well, whatever. That was a great string of gigs or gig or whatever, right? I always hated the share the stage with one, right?
Oh yeah, those are hilarious
because you don't even ever meet the band that you're putting on your bio, right? But it shows if it's a band thing, right? Like your band has played with these bands, it means something more than it looks better than it is, even though that band that you're putting their name on didn't pick you, or that band didn't watch you play, or that band had nothing to do with you being there. But there's a reason why you were there, and now it could be because you're the local act, and
they want to boost you up,
right. So there's always those reasons, right? With me and when I was playing with Tim Bassmeyer, we opened up for Helix at the at the White Rabbit, right? Which was great. They didn't pick us. I don't, it was,
you just happened to be playing on the street selling pool noodles.
And pool noodles.
They happened to figure out that you guys were musicians.
Well, that was the best. The funny story about that was it was my birthday. that day. And I had a double header on my birthday. And the first gig was me and Boyle played a dinner set at Jonathan's. And then I went home and threw my upright down and changed my shirt. And then went to go open for Helix. So that's... See, sometimes looking back, you could be like, that was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm getting this.
Like, people are like, I just love how, like, that still doesn't not seem unnormal to me, and that seems like something I would do again. And how weird is that?
Yeah, you do realize that's a very odd thing to happen to somebody. Like, it doesn't happen to everybody.
No. Is it because I'm dumb or versatile?
Like, well, obviously it's versatile. You were dumb. The only thing that made you dumb was No, I got nothing. Is it late? We've had car trouble today. And
I know, I get back and car won't start. And then I'm like, okay. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just get it. So this morning, Ryan came over to my house, gave me a boost, and went off to work at the store today. And I drove around for a bunch in hopes that it would...
it would catch.
No. So I just had to go.
Didn't you just change that battery like a while before COVID or during COVID?
Yeah. So I ended up. So when I was getting screwed over from that other job, I had like no money, and so I ended up buying a refurbished battery.
Okay.
For $75 or something.
Right.
And there's no guarantees on those.
No.
And if I didn't put it away for 89 days, I don't think I drove it the day before I left and the day I got back. So it was probably like
just
10 days sitting there. I guess if I bought a better battery, would have whatever. But
no, but
got a good battery.
Even cars that are like brand new, if you leave them sitting for a while, they're not going to start. You gotta,
it happens.
It totally happens. I still have to tow my car tomorrow.
Yeah, it would.
My fucking engine misfired, and I guess oil got into the exhaust system, and my engine light started flashing, and it's fuck, man. You kidding me? I have the worst luck with cars.
You really do.
I'm either totaling them, the engine's blowing up on me. This is the second. I actually had an engine blow up on me.
Yeah.
And then.
But this car's new.
I just bought it in the summer.
Yeah. How?
I don't know.
This is the second big thing, eh?
I know.
Yeah.
It beats me. I'm going to get it checked out tomorrow, and depending on what it is and what I have to do, somebody's getting a bill. It ain't going to be me. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, weird thing happened while you were gone. I was, I can't remember what I was doing in the house, but I was walking by the living room, and my girlfriend goes, what the hell is this? And she goes, have you seen this? And she showed me, it was an Instagram post of my face on a t-shirt.
Yes.
And somebody was selling it in Arabic. I think the language is Arabic. And I was like, motherfucker, are you making money off my face more than I am? Like, it's like my full-blown,
so tell me
poster.
This shirt. Like, so you have no idea about this shirt?
I do. So it was that poster there.
Okay.
So what show was it? I don't know. We made us like a fucking ton of them, and sold them at our merch table.
So it's a tour shirt.
Or
a gig shirt.
It was a gig shirt.
Yeah.
So what happened, so this goes back 2009,
Let's go back.
2008. So I was doing a bunch of like festivals and like, the jazz festival circuit and jazz clubs and stuff like that. And this particular gig I remember playing in front of like, I don't know, I think it was like 15,000 people or something in Woodbridge. And, sold shirts and gave out roses with my name embossed on the pedals.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. We went all out, man. And because I had a song back then called She's Like a Rose. And we handed out roses during that time. And
it's a given, you have to.
Then at the end, at the merch table, we had our own, my own booth in the convention center, and people came up. I signed a bunch of shirts and signed a bunch of posters and CDs and stuff like that. I think it was the next day or 2 days after, the girl I was seeing at the time and we walked to Vaughan Mills, because where I lived, it was walking distance. So we get into the mall, and I think I was looking for headphones. I needed a pair of headphones. And this swarm of people, all wearing my shirt, were walking towards us. And I'm like, we have to go. So we snuck out of the mall. And that was one of the shirts that I saw on this Instagram post that my girlfriend showed me a couple days ago. And I'm not sure. Whoever buys it, I'm so sorry. But it looks in good condition. So, like, the whites are still white.
What country is it in?
I don't know. I didn't look that far into it. But all I do know is
it was in Arabic, so you couldn't read it.
Yeah, I didn't even bother to like translate the post. I just saw it and I was like, and then my girlfriend, she commented on the photo. She's like, "Where's Daniel Panetta Music's cut?" And because he hashtagged my name but didn't tag me, so I would never know that this thing existed. So yeah, apparently these bloody things won't die, and they keep going.
That's amazing.
Is like, man, somebody's making money off my face, and it's not me. So,
but that's resale, right? So. That's always a weird thing, because like I know some people didn't like use CD shops,
right like thrift store style,
right? Because like, okay, so I buy a CD and then I sell to the used CD shop and they sell to someone else. That's what they're doing with your shirt.
That's what they're doing with my shirt. I don't know how many armpits have been in that shirt. Why you want to buy it? Don't buy that shirt. Don't.
Do you have one?
No. I've had 3 shirts made since then.
Oh, yeah, and you don't.
And that one is the one that won't die. It's my least favorite one.
Oh, okay.
I had shirts. I had shirts for the album that I came out with in 2011, which I ended up shelving. The shirts were cool. I designed them, and I'm super proud of those. I've had shirts made with like the logo, one of my tattoo logos. But for some reason, it's literally like that poster blocked out in the middle of a white undershirt, and I'm just like, we're going with that?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's terrible.
It's a bad design or
terrible, and it's black and white. And it's like over contrast, and it's like a blob holding a microphone with my name emboldened at the bottom. It's very ugly. I urge you to go check it out just to laugh a little bit.
It does look a little bit like the bootlegger shirts that you see after the concert when you're going into your car.
Yeah, except this one wasn't official.
Yeah, that's the funny thing.
I made an official bootleg.
Yeah.
I had no say on that one, so I'm allowed to make fun of it.
Oh, well, I mean, there's no way. Yeah. That's a whole other thing where how bands have no control of their merch and their this or like there's just and they're all authentic.
Yeah.
I
don't know, man. Like I just that whole scene back in the day because CDs were the only way to really consume music back then, and I get messages all the bloody time. When I remember to siphon through my messages on Facebook and Instagram, it's always the whole like, I still have your CD in my car. It's like, yeah, because you haven't taken it out in 10 years. It's like, it's like, man, I'm pretty sure I have my CDs in this house, but they're being used to hold up bourbon bottles.
But it's nice when people still dig your stuff.
Yeah, my parents are famous for like holding everything. They have home videos of rehearsals I did in Montreal and like big shows like backstage. If there was a behind the scenes documentary that was ever going to come out in my life, or if anybody was interested in watching it, my parents they're the vault catalog of all of that footage, all that media.
They should be.
I don't have. I think you're looking at the only things that I have left of that life is just those plaques, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't keep that stuff.
Yeah.
Or if I do, I lose it very quickly.
Yeah, it's there's stuff that I've thought I kept, but guess not, because you keep moving, right?
Yeah, you ever get that thing? Oh, did you keep your? I get that question. Do you keep your first guitar? My first guitar was a half body nylon string thing that I got when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
If that thing survived this long, I would be very impressed and would possibly have to get it blessed because it's possessed by some sort of demon. But no, I do not have my first guitar.
They would be a lot of crappy guitars. I mean, not that they're not as, but way worse than, like if a kid buys beginner Squire, I mean, that thing could last a lifetime.
Yeah. And guitars are built differently now too, right? Like the first act stuff and your very first guitar, they're just built differently than they were like 30 years ago.
Yeah, better CNC machines for sure, and on stuff, not just.
Meanwhile, I buy things that I think is going to last forever, and they last 2 weeks.
Yeah, like cars.
Fuck, man,
I love it. It's like anytime you make an extra $1.
Oh yeah, no.
Car goes down.
So I'm this season is going to be very good for me.
Yeah.
But it's all going in this goddamn car now. If it's what I think it is.
Yeah.
Because I called my dad just before you got here, and I was just like, "Look, here's what's happening. Here's what I know, and here's what I'm worried about." And he's like, "Nah, it's probably something really stupid. We'll bring it in and see what's going on." I'm just like, look, I have like trauma from an engine blowing up that sometimes you just know. It's like, oh, you're getting sick and you just know you're getting sick. My car is sick.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be laughing. This is so much money.
I know. Just don't care. You're just like,
You know what I need to do? I want to get one of those Volkswagen buses.
The new ones?
No, man, like the old school ones.
Yeah.
And just load that.
That's
up.
not a lot of work.
I would gut it.
Yeah.
And put like a jam spot in the back, because usually those things have like booth seating and shit, right?
Yeah.
So I would put like a jam spot in the back and just like shag carpet the shit out of it. Gotta shag it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had my godmother's brother had one, and I used to love that thing. I used to sit in it all the time. It's so cool. But I miss even just the vans, the 18 vans. Yeah, man. Like, why don't make those anymore? Well, probably because they rot out really easy, and those ones from that era at least have. But I've been looking randomly, like I'll be searching throughout the day. I'm on like Kijiji and stuff at school buses. Mm-hmm. I wanted, if I was to get something like a portable studio, it'd be in a school bus. It'd be in a school bus. Friends of ours, Jesse and Nikita, are doing that right now. Yeah. They're gonna live in it. Oh, they're doing like the tiny home kind of thing. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I think I'm too frivolous and first world. I wouldn't be able to do it. Yeah. Like I like a roof. Yeah, I don't like my house to like. I think move. It's for me. It's being in Canada because, once I was there, in Honduras for the week, I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, I just kind of like, I would never need to own more than one bass, I don't care about a roof because it's hot, right? So here it's just so much cold. And I saw a video of you when you were down there. Were you playing in like a hut? It looked like a hut. Like one of the bars had like a hut roof kind of thing. They all do, right? Because there's no walls. There's no need for walls, and they're all on the beach, right? So, yeah, that's so cool. And I forgot about all that stuff, right? What's cool too is like, no, I forgot. Like from it's been so long since I've been anywhere like that, and then also even here, right? Like everything's got even, we all love our patios, and then there it's like. There's no walls, just cool huts, and everything's on the beach, and random dogs will walk in, and
visit you while you're having dinner and stuff or whatever. So, yeah, it's just so cool.
That is cool, man.
So when you're in that mentality, right? Like, it's just like, you start throwing away your pants.
As you do.
And all your socks.
As you do.
It's just little by little, right? And all of a sudden you have...
I'm even surprised you brought socks.
No, I didn't, just for the plane.
Even still.
It's so cold. I was driving there in an ice storm, right?
Oh, true.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, you left when it was really cold.
I was so mad because I'm like, if our flight gets delayed...
I know, just get me out of
finally,
this.
like that. I couldn't believe, I was just waiting and waiting because I couldn't believe that this day finally came. Right. It just always felt, up until we had a gig at Market Bringing with the four of us and some people that were coming to Roatan were at the gig. And that was the first time, even though we got booked a year and a half ago, that I'm like, oh, this is finally going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa. In February, I'm like, I got to start planning where I'm going to.
I remember your lead up was like, yeah, I'm kind of going, and then, fuck, it's happening.
Yeah, like I just kept, and then because we're out of gigs for so long that any gig that came in, I'm like, yes, right?
Oh yeah.
How did the Thursday go that I missed?
Oh, the showcase.
Yeah.
Oh, it was wicked, man.
Yeah,
it was wicked. I mean, fuck, man, we have such an insane group of musicians.
Yeah,
no rehearsal.
Yeah.
None, and it was full, like 2 horns, full rhythm section. Like it was 3 singers.
Yeah. Even the one I did was 3 singers.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Stacy's a monster. We have a newcomer as well, Isabella, who is an insane vocalist, and I can't wait to get her work. But yeah, it went so well. It was a packed house.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and people are starting to come out.
People are coming out.
Because these showcases, so for people that, well, you should probably explain it better, but it's for the wedding band, and the potential clients come and book. But now, because like the one I did, we were still in lockdown. No, we must not have been. We're definitely not in lockdown. 50%.
Well, when did you do? Did you do January or the February?
Yeah,
you did the February one. Okay.
Yeah, and crappy weather and stuff. So I'm sure like this one would have been having people that didn't even, weren't even hiring.
Yeah, I mean, like you're talking people that are booking for 2023 now.
Yeah, and just random people to see the band.
Yeah, no, right? we had some street, like off the street people that came in, or friends of the band too that came, or even other musicians that weren't playing that night came and checked it out. For sure. Poor Ian got sick, so he had to sub out the day before. But it worked out.
But that's how he got the other gig, though. That's how we got the February gig, because someone else had to
it's the exact same thing happened, right? So yeah, and I told that's the thing with Supersonic. I mean, like our catalog of musicians is so big. It's like we'll figure it out. Yeah. Like just rest. Don't worry. Yeah. So yeah, it went really well. Super proud. Bookings came in immediately.
Yeah,
and
of course they would. The band is. The only thing I don't like about 3030 is that when you walk by, you can't hear the band.
Yeah.
Or can you?
You can, to a point.
Okay.
You can hear the band. You can't see the band because that curtain is drawn.
So you don't know if that's a band or just a radio.
Yeah, or DJ or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you walk by a lot of bars, like I'm constantly like, at the window and you see people looking, and then they'll come across the street and watch you from the outside and know it's a band, and then hopefully come in. But 3030, the stage is so far away that...
Yeah, it's kind of like the Elmo that way. But with 3030, what I think they do on a regular night of music is those curtains are open. Yeah,
I've never seen those curtains until we played there.
Yeah, I think the showcase, because it's pretty much that's for the clients. Yeah. That it's not a night of like, hey, we got live music kind of thing.
But they do rent the place out a lot, so that's why the curtains are great.
I just wish they had parking.
I lucked out.
This showcase. I parked like right in behind.
Because if you get there at the right time, you're in the time for sound check.
Yeah.
And the street parking opens.
Yeah.
But if you don't know that, Right. And
it's
it's a 10-piece band, so there goes the 10 spots. Technically.
Yeah,
right there.
I always want to give it to the people that have the most gear.
Yeah,
so it's like
not the biggest ego.
biggest
microphone. Wait.
Well, these gigs, these showcases is nice for me because I don't have to bring the PA system, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'll just bring
in.
a microphone. I'll rock in. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's take a break.
Yep.
And we'll be back. Probably not going to do like the commercials anymore because I'm getting copyright claims on the music I created. That's playing in the background of the commercial.
Really?
It's like, I wrote that.
The copyright. Let's talk about copyright claims when we come back.
Yeah, all right. See you in a bit. On this day in music history. Okay, so on this day in 1968, the posthumously released Otis Redding single "Sitting on the Dock of the Bay" started a 5-week run at number 1 on the U.S. chart and number 3 hit in the U.K., which was hard to do back then to be on top high. 10 in both countries. Okay, Otis was killed in a plane crash on December 10th, 1967, 3 days after recording the song.
Keyword.
Sitting on the Dock of the Bay became the first posthumous number 1 single in the U.S. chart history and sold over 4 million copies worldwide.
That's crazy.
So he was the first to die and have a posthumous hit.
Number 1.
Posthumous number 1. So let's talk about the song first.
Yeah.
Sitting on the Dock of the Bay is one of those songs that it is not a difficult song, but it is a timeless. There's that beauty and the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
Just that opening bass.
What's funny is, okay, when you say simple, when a musician says simple, we're usually brushing it off.
Right.
And that's not one of those songs that I would brush off, and I enjoy playing every time I do it because...
Yeah, the simplicity I think I'm referring to is that it is not changes heavy. So it's not like all over the place changes wise, like a lot of soul
you
tunes.
You feel them coming on.
Yeah. This one is very much like it leads you in a direction where it's like, oh, okay, I had a feeling it was going to go here, and I'm glad it did.
Yeah.
It stays relatively diatonic, other than the dominant third that pops in every so often and the dominant sixth. But back then, that was kind of that was the soul diatonic to do. Back then, that was a very, very soul move, directly derived from like the Motown and all that stuff. But that song there, it's almost folky. It's got a folk vibe to it, which led it to allowed it to be so widespread and enjoyed by various music loving types. So I think that was
there's whistling.
There's whistling in the song, and it's not
whistling.
an annoying whistle.
No. So when we play with Ryan, people lose their shit when he does the whistling part.
See, he can whistle. When I do, I stay away from the song because I can't do the whistle.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a thing, right? I think that's. But what's crazy is that he, like you said before we went on air, like he probably never heard the mastered version.
Well, he died 3 days after recording it. So he would have never got, because back then to mix and he wouldn't even have heard the mix because it was all reel to reel back then. So he would have recorded the song, listened to probably direct playback, and that was it.
And it's so sad, man, because it's such a. Like it's still, to this day.
I mean, I
play that opening bass line and people lose their shit.
It's just undeniably recognizable.
You don't always get it. You hardly get it requested. That's the one thing. But then when you play
it, it's like, oh, I love this song.
Any age, anybody.
Yeah. I mean, it got brought back.
Yeah, what to bring it back? I can't.
Well,
I don't know.
I think Otis was brought back because of Shrek. Try a Little Tenderness, as in at the end of Shrek, and then people started looking at Otis and stuff like that. But that's one of those songs that has consistently. I mean, it peaked.
Yeah.
It did its peak thing when he won the Grammys and after he passed away. But it was this steady, like, just everybody loves this song and it doesn't go away, and like it's just always there. And it's such, like, the lyrics are,
puts you on a dock.
It's just so simple, you know. It's just like, and I can't stress enough. Simple is a good thing.
Yeah.
Simple, like the simplicity of that song lends it to so many people, and that's what the beautiful thing is about it. And Otis himself, I mean, his performance on "Try a Little Tenderness" is probably my top 5 greatest soul performances.
You've seen them live in Monterey, obviously. Go check out live in Monterey.
Oh my God,
he gives it, and he's in a full suit.
Yeah. He was a monster, man.
Yeah.
And he was 26 years
26. I always thought he was older. I thought he was like even 40 when he was like.
I thought he was in his mid-30s, but I think I'm thinking of Sam Cooke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a way longer career. Like and that's probably why he's not always brought up in the greatest singers of all time or whatnot, right? Because he never got his chance to, like, 26.
I mean, he invented that, like. Yeah, like that almost like reverend kind of singing approach, you know. Like, you had the rock and rollers that did it back in the day, but nobody had successfully crossed over into the soul category and continued that level of intensity, which is why Sitting on the Dock of the Bay is so beautiful, because it is a completely different side of Otis than we would ever know. Because if you listen to the tail end of "Try a Little Tenderness," he goes ape.
Yeah.
Man. Like, I have his record too, and it's just like that's one record where you could just sit there and just be like, man,
so good.
What a friggin' powerhouse.
Yeah.
And I mean, the instrumentation of "Sitting on the Dock of the Bay" is like not like any of his other songs. His other songs have horns in it. It has "Sitting on the Dock of the Bay" is just, you know.
Hey, well, you said it perfect when you said it's more of a folk song.
Yeah,
right. It's definitely an acoustic guitar strumming.
Totally,
if you want it to be.
And there's no harmonies in it. There's no layering. It's just band in a room.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, it's awesome. Otis Redding, man, he would have.
He would have gotten huge.
He died when James Brown was coming up. Because James Brown was in the Flamin' Something.
Wasn't that late 50s though?
No, I thought he would have he got picked up in the mid 60s.
I don't know. I know when he got Bootsy was around that time when he changed his band again. I think he was more laid back.
Yeah, because in the 60s he was doing the soul stuff, because funk really wasn't, you know, a thing yet, or at least a mainstream thing. Yeah. That was more of an underground.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I wonder I wonder how big exactly. Like, if Otis didn't, like, he controlled the band. You just gotta watch the live versions of it, a live concert, because he's just
you'll get sucked right in. You can't look away from the Monterey one. He would unreal.
He would have grown, you know.
Oh yeah, he would have been like Marvin Gaye and all those guys. Like, if they stayed around, man, those would be concerts that they would still be packing the houses for. Yeah. So the music just doesn't die.
Yeah. They'd be like Bruce Springsteen and you know, like, just complete sold out legends.
Yeah, man. Like, if you think about it, like, Billy Joel did the longest run. I think he set the Guinness World Record, the longest run at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, really?
Before COVID, he played there every weekend. He did like shows every weekend at Madison Square Garden. It was crazy. He did like I think he has a Guinness World Record now because of it. But yeah, he did Madison like every freaking week, and sold out. Like, packed the house every single time.
Because I could see people traveling to go there. I would. Like,
yeah,
if
it became a museum piece,
yeah.
right?
Oh, he's there for, okay, let's go.
Yeah, it's no different than seeing somebody have a residency at a casino in Vegas. You know what I mean? Like, or one of the theaters in Vegas. It's like, oh, Billy Joel's at Madison Square Garden. Let's go see him.
Yeah. Did he do a Vegas run?
Billy Joel?
Yeah, he must have.
I think back in the day when he was still putting music out.
Still the casino run thing, kind of weird because then there's casino tours.
Yeah,
where certain, like even the Elmer Brothers played like casinos for a year, and that was really weird.
A lot of those guys have non-competes now. Back in the day, when it was mob run, like, yeah, you can hop over to, the casino across the street, see your buddies play, get pulled up on stage. Now, like, because it's all business guys and bean pushers that are running it, there's a bunch of non-competes. You can't perform at another casino if you're contracted at one of them.
It's crazy. So, the non-competes on a hand, and I'm seeing that a lot with like the Blues Society, because we do an award show, and we want to hire someone, and even you're coming to town that time, it's even perfect, right? Like you want to hire a guy to come and do one song, not even with his whole band, they just get up and do one song, and because of their contract, because they're playing a theater within 30 days of either side or something, like you can't have them. It's like it's one song. And there's 8 other bands. It's not like it's like featuring this person. It's like featuring these people, and they're all gonna get up and do one song. And and in some ways, the society may have kickstarted their career or pushed it a lot, right?
Yeah.
And they would do it, right? They would do it. Their managers.
Oh yeah, non-competes like put successful paths to a screeching halt. Yeah. So, for those of you that don't know, non-competes are exactly what you think it is regarding your own career and stuff like that. You can't do work for another outside party of similar interests if it's directly affecting the current company you're contracted with. So, in music and even in acting, because I know with like Daniel Craig and all the James Bonds, they're not allowed to be in a movie that features them in a tuxedo. During the duration of them being James Bond.
Oh my God, that's why you never see them like make a James Bond joke or something anywhere else, right? Where you'll see other people do those,
Yeah, exactly. Wow. So yeah, it's fairly ridiculous. However,
it is.
I kind of get it. For music, however, so if you're a resident performer, a resident band playing at a place, a non-compete would stipulate that you cannot perform in a place of similar standing. So, for example, just throwing it out there, like a casino gig, you can't perform at another casino that's in direct competition with where you're playing or where you're contracted. Hence, non-compete. I know I kind of just mansplained it and feel a little dirty about it, but in music, in the arts in general, having a non-compete, I mean, not only are you're an entrepreneur, your whole life is self-promotion, and if you can't go out, perform somewhere else to bring people back to where you're contracted to play, it kind of like it's a redundancy that's stupid.
There's loopholes, I think, like I don't know, stuff like when you're playing, an award show or something, like I get people, bars saying, well, don't play next door the night before or after and promote it.
Yeah, but to put it in writing.
Yeah.
Like, to have a lawyer draw that up, it's like...
Luckily they don't for, like, whatever, just these working bands, but it's just... I don't get it. Like, I get, like, playing Massey Hall and then, picking up a horseshoe gig the night before. That makes sense to me. Massey Hall's like, no. The horseshoe gig's going to be less money, so people will go there and not, when you round it out and whatnot, right? But if I don't know, peoples.
How do we get here?
I don't know. I don't know how we get anywhere. I don't know.
Somebody rewind this and tell us
Otis.
how we got to Otis. I can't even go.
26. You killed me, man. I had no idea he was 26.
Isn't that insane?
You look like a gentleman.
I feel like I haven't done anything.
I know.
Like, it's crazy. The trajectory of people's success, or I should say fame, because success comes in many different forms. But
Yes.
the trajectory of people's fame back then is mind-boggling. Because, I mean, now I get it, because there's so many ways to access fame. It's just a matter of finding your formula and sticking to it. But back then, it was kind of like a crapshoot. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you were either good and became successful, or you were shit and forgotten. Or you were shit and you became more successful because you were shit.
Yeah.
Hi, Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim. His ukulele's in the Martin Museum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could we just take a second to think about that? A guy who took the piss out of himself, like a Weird Al kind of thing, has his instrument. Weird Al, I get. If his accordion is put into a museum, Weird Al, I get, because he changed the game for an instrument that nobody wants.
Nobody.
And made it cool to be a nerd.
He got huge.
Like, insanely huge. Did you see his interview on Hot Ones?
No.
You should check out Weird Al's interview on Hot Ones. It's like you kind of go into the mind of him a little bit, and you know
that'd be good.
He's a really, really interesting cat, man. Like he
made movies,
right? Right? He would have to get his stuff cleared by the artists he was parodying, and they would consider it an honor to get their songs parodied. People wanted it after. Like, Paul McCartney picked him out in a crowd and was like, "Hey, Weird Al." And Weird Al was like, I don't know what to do with myself now. Yeah. Like, Michael, you get a call from Michael Jackson saying, "Thank you for taking the piss out of my song."
Did he do? I know he did obviously eat it, but he did another one.
I'm fat.
That was.
Yeah.
You gotta watch the videos.
Oh, the videos are everything.
Oh my!
The videos are everything.
There's so much production putting and copying. Like, you watch the original video and then you watch.
It's perfect.
It's so amazing. He's just
like the production quality is the same.
I forgot, like the whole
video,
camera
angles, everything.
The same. Oh my god! And Michael used to love to do these longer videos, so there was always, an intro to the video.
Yeah.
And he did it, and it was so funny.
My first introduction to Weird Al, oddly enough, was back when the prequels to Star Wars were coming out. Okay. And he parodied American Pie.
Yes.
And did soon I'm gonna be a Jedi.
Yeah. Talking about perfect timing. I couldn't believe when I heard that, and I was like, oh, he's still at it.
Yeah.
Like, I thought he would just be riding those coattails and maybe playing some casinos. Something.
No, I mean, like, he's still putting out records. He did a whole, I think one of the latest things that he did was he did an entire polka album of the soundtrack of Hamilton.
Yes.
Can we just take a minute and listen to those words put together again? He did a polka album to the entire soundtrack of the musical Hamilton. The best musical of all time. He made a polka album with his accordion of the music of Hamilton. And he was super successful. And Lin-Manuel Miranda considered it the biggest honor. Yeah. They were on the Tonight Show together, and basically, Lin-Manuel couldn't thank him enough.
Really?
And Lin is just he's just a stupid nice guy. I hate how talented and nice he is.
They're both. That's funny. They're probably.
God, they nerd out together. Can you imagine that conversation?
No, the after show conversation of them like talking about their likes and dislikes,
playing Jeopardy on their phone together. Let's multiplayer.
That was another one I lost on Jeopardy. There's a song too. What was I lost on Jeopardy a parody of? I'm lost on Jeopardy, baby. And it's like, that's even a better version of the song. There's songs that he come out with and it's like, this is really good.
Come on, man. Pretty Fly for Rabbi was pretty great too.
Pretty Fly for a Rabbi. It's
White and Nerdy. Come on.
Yeah, he went through all the generations. His
song, his parody of White and Nerd, Riding Dirty by Chameleonaire was more successful than Chameleonaire's song.
Yeah.
White and Nerdy was more successful than the original.
Yeah. I love how he has just made being a geek cool. And I wonder if that well, I know that inspired a bunch of people, but it wasn't. Now it's cool to be a nerd. It was not cool to be a nerd back then. Like, they even tried, making the movies Revenge of the Nerds, and that didn't work.
Yeah.
Oh my God! It just reminded me of like when Homer went back to college. Nerds. All the nerds. Oh my God! So funny. Marge is like, stop that.
Oh, it's I Lost on Jeopardy is a parody of the song Jeopardy by the Craig Kin Band.
That's even better.
So he parodied a parody song.
Yeah.
Basically. That's funny. Wow, when did that come out? That was a long 84.
84.
Man, he's been in the game a long time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I don't know what he. Yeah. Wasn't his first claim to fame doing another one bites the dust, another one rides the bus.
Another one rides the bus.
He came out on there's an accordion on Letterman or something, and that's where things started.
Yeah, it was definitely like a late show comedy bit
and
kind of
started. And it's in a weird.
Paul Schaefer loved him.
It's a weird key because my daughter was first band. One of her first band experiences, they did that, and she came home playing that, and I guess he did an A because it would be easier on the accordion, I guess. And I was like, that's not it. I mean, I have no accordions. Maybe just sang in that key was easier for him or whatever, or didn't think he was going to be huge. I'm just going to do
He's so proficient in it that, like, I don't know if there's a key that he plays in that would be more or less difficult. Have you listened the changes that he puts in his songs, like not necessarily the parody songs. He did that thing on John Oliver. He did North Korea thing. Don't nuke us, North Korea. Back when they were aiming for Hawaii before COVID. The changes in that, it's a polka that gets incrementally faster.
Okay.
And he does this run at the end of the song that still melts my face. I get like, he is so good at that accordion that it almost makes me want to pick it up again. Almost. I don't want another accordion. I saw one at a hawk shop, and I was like, you know what?
Should have.
Pick up a Stomach Steinway. I don't know.
Let's bring the accordion back. I love it. I did love it.
In Korea, the reason why he did that for John Oliver is because in North Korea, they all know how to play the accordion for some reason.
Okay.
Like
that doesn't make sense. But yeah.
There's videos of them playing like Aha's Take on Me in like a quartet sitting around like they were like a bunch of like you would see a bunch of cello play, but with accordions playing Take on Me. And it is the most beautiful thing.
That's amazing.
I just want... Oh, God. Well, I told myself that if I do this year right, because this year is the busiest year of my life, 2022's a fucking nightmare. If I get my car fixed. Otherwise, I'm walking everywhere. But
some of our gigs are
as
fun.
a gift from myself, at the end of the year, as a Christmas gift to myself, I'm going to pick up a cello.
Oh,
I
I'm
want
gonna
to
borrow this.
Yeah.
Said cello.
Yeah,
I love cello.
I want to learn how to play cello and
I love
incorporate it somehow.
Yeah.
Because I started like doing the theory and stuff like that during COVID just to learn how to the fingering and everything like that and the tuning and whatever. But I sit down and actually play one with a bow is something I really really want to try.
Yeah.
You would have no problem with it because I hate you and you're talented, but it's like a little project for me. I think I want to give it a shot.
It's yeah, you'll love it.
Yeah,
I know. I've always wanted to get one.
You played though, right? You've played one.
I've never owned one,
but you screwed around with it.
Yeah, I mean the hardest thing at the time was I was really working on upright, so I'm used to this hand position
instead of this.
Yeah, but just it's wider, it's longer, right? So I can never play a violin.
Yeah, your finger span would be the whole neck.
Right? So it's like, I always find it weird that kids start on violin, but it's the one instrument, maybe not the only one, but that as they grow, you just get a bigger and bigger size.
Right.
It's brilliant. It just sounds, it's just weird. It's like, why wouldn't, kids just start on fretted instruments? But the way they build their ear, and they, but right away, you don't realize you're playing wrong notes, then you're playing wrong notes, and then you're and then that note becomes, because when you play a fretted instrument, sometimes you're just thinking 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 3 3 3 3 right? Where they're thinking of the note, right? Like listening for the note. So it is it's a harder beginning, but
there's this I when I was in high school, I think it was, I did this whole classical course on classical instrumentation, and one of the cool things that I remember reading up on, I used to read, was that string instruments, specifically violin, viola, cello, and double bass, are the only instruments in the classical lexicon that haven't evolved. Mm-hmm. They are still of the same manufacturing and build that they were back in the back in Baroque time. And because if you think saxophone and horn instruments have evolved for easier play, easier maintenance, things like that. Mm-hmm. Saxophone was actually a joke instrument when it was created, because the way that you play the saxophone is a direct mirror of what your body is doing. So exhale to inhale saxophone, and it's placed, like it's built for your hands in the way that like it was meant to be a joke. Because saxophones in classical music were like flighty kind of songs. Kind of like what a clarinet would be in like a street band in New Orleans, right? It's very flighty counterpart kind of thing. But stringed instruments, like, because even the piano, it's an iteration of the harpsichord. Mm-hmm. But stringed instruments, specifically those four, are instruments that have not evolved since their conception. Yeah. Like down to their theory, down to their tuning, like everything has stayed the same, right? Which I find quite beautiful, and that's why I'm a little bit drawn to it, and I want to give it a shot. I always wanted to play like double bass when I was in high school and stuff too, but something about the cello was just so beautiful.
It's that mid, it's that nice range. Yeah. It's a beautiful range, not too high, not too low, and it just sits perfectly.
And you hear all these groups come out, like two cellos and like these Kevin oh my god, KO from Pentatonics. Kevin, sorry. He plays cello as well, but he does pop songs on the cello. Mm. Oh my god, dude, it's heart-wrenching. It's so nice. Yeah. And it's like I want so bad. Like I want to hook it up to like loop pedals and try stuff out that way. It's another thing I started on Sunday. I brought my loop pedals out for both guitar and voice. Started screwing around with those again. Yeah, I mean looping's huge. The loopers they're crazy. Coming into the store and they're like, you see, those ones are insane. Yeah, it's Who makes those? Is that TC or is that?
Well, they all do. Boss has been up and they just came out with a brand new one again, and it's just like that's wild.
Some friggin' down payment for a house though.
Yeah, yeah, just to hear yourself more.
Yeah, but I mean, look at we should do more gear talk. I think in the next few episodes we're going to be getting into some gear. I'm going to get you to bring some gear over.
Gear friends.
And just let's just talk. Yeah, we should get gear heavy. But I've seen some rigs in my comings and goings with SHB, and some of the rigs that I've seen guitarists and bass players and vocalists and keyboard players use blows my mind. It's like, man, you must have sold your kidney to get this, but I get why you did. Some of them, it's just like they are unnecessary. It's part of the instrument at that point. You need it.
I love vocal loopings when it's done right, like Bobby McFerrin kind of styles or whatever, right? But it's really cool.
It is, man. There's an updated version of the VE20 that I think is called the VE2, and it's a one pedal stop box instead of a two, and it kind of works like the voice play where it goes based on the chord you're playing instead of the key you're dialing in the key manually.
Yeah.
Which I want bad because when you're playing diminished chords or stuff like that, it's not really gonna pick up on a VE20 as well. And if you're playing right into the unit, it's going based on the instrument or the tuning your guitar is in currently, and not just A440, which is what it picks up on. So if your guitar's a little bit out of tune and your harmonies are perfect, it's gonna sound off. Yeah. So if it's playing based on what you're playing, then at least it's gonna stay all nicely packaged together, right? I just nerded out a little bit.
Yeah, super duper. Awesome.
But okay, so here's a question in kind of relation to that. Octave pedals.
Yeah.
So with Octave pedals, Octave pedals is taking the current notation you're playing and dropping it down an octave or raising it up an octave, depending on what instrument you're playing and what pedal you're using. Is it preferable to be dropping octave or raising octave in A440 or based on what your instrument is tuned in currently? Because think about it, if you're playing in what you think is tuned, right? And I've heard multi-effects pedals and even octave pedals base it on what it'll shift the note ever so slightly to get to A440 and not necessarily the note that you're playing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking. I'm probably wording it wrong.
Yeah, because that's the difference between analog and digital, right?
Right.
Because the analog will just take that note and drop it or raise it. The digital, I think all the digitals, you need digital to raise it. But not,
it raises it up,
but not lower it.
Okay.
So like the original octave pedals had 1 and 2 below, so you could have 1 octave below and 2 octave belows, which is weird that bass players gravitated to them because you're kind of like you're already low. Like,
how low do you want?
Yeah, but the analog ones you can only really play one note at a time.
Right.
Once you play more, right? So the digital ones, so
it's kind of yin and yang a little bit.
That's more of a vocal processing thing, which is weird because not really.
I have a bit of a problem with that because with my VE20 specifically, and I know this may or may not be an issue with the voice live and voice play and the VE2. When I'm doubling or harmonizing, even if you set it to chromatic and not diatonic, you're not in any scale in particular, you're missing the quarter tone. Yeah. Your slide, you're missing all of those cool nuanced things that your voice or a song specifically might want to do. And it's cool that it duplicates your voice. That to me is magic.
Yeah.
Like it defies science in my brain, and I don't care what anybody says. The fact that you could take my voice and duplicate it to make it sound like a full choir or an ensemble is still an amazing thing to me. However, to pigeonhole it to a chromaticism or a diatonic scale or any scale and have to like you hear the harmony fighting to shift to one note or the other, either semitonally or tonally, and it doesn't work with what you're currently trying to do with your lead vocal, which is why I really want to try the VE2. And if anybody has tried the VE2 or is currently using it at their gigs, leave a comment, send us a DM, let us know how it's working for you, because I'm seriously considering purchasing this if it does what I hope it does, which is go based solely on the chords that you're playing and melodies you're singing.
It's got to.
Right?
Yeah. I found with the V20, people are like, you have to sing it.
And you
have to be simple. The simpler you are.
And you have to manually put in the key that you're playing. And if your song has a key change, you better be quick.
Better be quick. Yeah.
Honestly, what I'm thinking of starting doing is keeping it hand level. Keeping the pedal hand level.
Well, I see a lot of guys do that. Yeah. This stomping thing is, I don't know why they make them a stomp box when you need it. It should be, and that's what the Voice Live did, right? It would hook onto your microphone.
Mm-hmm. The mic stand. Yeah, that's one of the, that's their processor version.
The processor, which makes sense because then you're there.
Laura had one of those.
Laura did have one of those.
Yeah.
I'm like, Laura probably still has one of those.
Yeah, she's still, I mean, those things don't die.
Yeah.
That thing was cool because it had verb on it. It had compressor on it.
But it throws off the big stages because you're putting verb and compression, and then they want to do it.
Yeah, well, it depends where you're playing is going to make.
You need your own sound guy because they need to have known. Yeah, we had some problems when we first started playing bigger stages because it was like, he's just like, that's too much verb. Right?
I get it for compression. I do get it for like vocal compression. For those of you that don't know, I'm sorry, we're nerding out a little bit. Yeah. So compression in general in recording or performing in just mix alone. Compression is when you take your highest highs and your lowest lows and it compresses it to be an even playing field. So no matter how far away you are from the microphone, it's going to keep a steady plane of sound, frequency, I guess, out through your speakers. So vocal processors generally do have great compression on them. However, what to keep in mind is the better the compression, the more inclined it is to latency. So you're going to get some delay. Unwanted delay. Wanted delay is cool. You get a little bit of a slap back, but sometimes if your compression is up too high, you get unwanted slap back, and that can lead to some inaccuracies.
Oh yeah.
Nerd rant done.
On that note, we're gonna go buy some new gear.
Yeah. But yeah, let us know. I know we have a lot of shy watchers and listeners that don't like leaving comments on things, but if you do want us to check out some gear, try some gear out, let us know. Shoot us a DM, shoot us a message. We have an email, behindthehookscast@gmail.com. Send us an email, and maybe we can answer questions, or maybe we can get things totally wrong and be entertaining while doing it. Yes. So
we're funny when we're wrong.
I mean, we can be, unless it depends how wrong we are. Because, people have been wrong and started wars. So, so yes, if you are a vendor or of any kind and want to feature your stuff on our show, please let us know as well, and we'd be happy to assist in any way. Like, comment, subscribe, smash the bell. Have a look at our donation page again, and just let us know how you're doing. That's cool too. Thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up if you're doing okay. On that note, I'm Daniel Panetta.
I'm Manny.
Have a great week.
Yes.
Whenever this video decides to render and come out is when it will be released. The audio will be out on Monday. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Behind the Hooks.